back to episode 4 in our series looking at the fruits of the Spirit. I hope you've been able to catch our previous episodes because we're almost halfway through already. So we looked at love, joy and peace, and today we are looking at the next one, which is patience. So before we get into our activities and our stories, let's do our Fruits of the Spirit song. Now hopefully you know this really well by now, but if not, do get up on your feet, sing loud, and let's see if we can remember these fruits of the Spirit to song.
The fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. Fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. If you want to be a coconut, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. You wanna be a banana? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. If you wanna be a watermelon, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. If you wanna be a lemon, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. The fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. If you wanna be a cherry, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Okay! Everybody knows that grapes come in bunches, so everybody get in big bunches. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. You wanna be a grape, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. The fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control.
Well done guys, you're really getting to know that song really well. So today we are looking at patience, and the fruit we're going to use to represent patience is a plum. Now the reason I picked plums for patience is because plums are one of those fruits that you usually buy and it says ripen at home. And you have to wait until they become their best, and they're usually hard and don't taste very good for such a long time. And then all of a sudden they're ready to eat and they're delicious. But you have to be patient. So when you think of patience, you can think of plums. Now we're going to jump straight into our challenge today because it's one that is really simple. All you need is a plum. And the challenge is to balance a plum on your nose. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But actually it's a lot harder than it sounds. So make sure you get those video cameras out and you can see if you can balance a plum on your nose. I'd say about 5 seconds. So if it's there for a second and falls off, doesn't count. It has to stay there. Now I'm terrible at this, I can tell you straight away, but I'm going to give it a try so you understand what you need to do. So 5 seconds, balance a plum on your nose. Here we go. Oh, oh, oh. Can I get it? Don't think so. I can get it in my eye, but not my nose. Ooh, ta-da! Not quite, but you try it and see if you can balance a plum on your nose. So patience. What is patience? You might have heard that word a lot from grown-ups, parents, teachers, when they say just be patient, just wait. And patience can be something that sounds really boring, like why would you want to wait? But it is one of the fruits of the Spirit, and we should want patience in our life. But it can be hard, and it's one of those ones that lots of us need to keep practicing. Now I've got Bobby here today to tell us a story of how she experienced patience in her life. And just a note to say that she mentions a disease called dementia. And this is a mental illness. This is where people lose their memories, lose who they are. So when you're listening to the story, that's what she's talking about.
Patience. What can I say about patience? It has been with loneliness and long suffering that I've been caring for my mother with dementia. And I've had to learn to be patient. Caring for dementia, somebody with dementia, leads you to either give up, throw in the towel, or take God's hand and follow his lead. I'm happy to say I'm no longer long suffering. My patience is almost endless because God is leading. If anything to be learned is everything we do, if it's not with God, you're not likely to succeed. And I'm happy to say I'm holding his hand still.
Thank you so much, Bobby, for sharing your story of how you learn patience. And isn't it a great example to show us that everybody needs to practice patience? It's not something that we can just magically have in our lives. It's something we need to work at. But patience is important. It's in the fruits of the Spirit, but it's in so many other places in the Bible as well. Be patient. And our memory verse for this week comes from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. And this is what it says. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient and accept each other with love. Be patient. So this week especially, let's try and be patient. Let's see if we can practice patience with our friends, with our families. When things are annoying us and we want things done now our way, let's practice patience. It's not always easy, but it's something that God can help us with if we ask him. So when you are in that moment where you want your way now, ask God to give you patience. And let's see what happens. Let's see if anything changes this week in your life. So don't forget that the memory verse is one of the challenges you can do for your token this week. So here is our lovely keyring that you can get. Thank you so much for those who are sending me their pictures and their videos. It is so great to see them. Please keep doing it. I want to be able to send everyone a keyring at the end of this series. So our patience challenges is the memory verse, Ephesians 4 verse 2. It's also trying to balance that plum on the nose. Here is the list of all of the different ones you can write down to remember for the rest of the week. And then we're going to go into our activity for this week. Hey guys, our activity for today is homemade tie-dye. It's such a strange thing to do, but it's worked out so much better than I was expecting. So this is how you make it. Things you will need to find a plum, one with darker skin the better. You'll need to find a piece of cloth, white material of any kind. This is actually just from an old sheet, but you could use a t-shirt if you wanted to, or a tea towel, whatever you have, some white material. And then some other things also you'll need is some salt water. So this is just some regular tap water with salt mixed in. You'll need a sharp knife, a spoon, a mug, and some boiling water. So hopefully you can grab all those things, and let's make some homemade tie-dye. First thing you need to do is grab your salt water and you're going to put your material into it to soak. The salt water actually helps the dye stick to the material. So we're just going to place that in there for now and we're going to leave it in there while we do the rest of the stuff. The next part is to grab your mug and your plum and cut the skin, or peeler, you can even get a peeler and peel the skin and put it into the mug. So let me do that quickly. Alright, so I have all of my skin in the cup, which is great, and we don't actually need the rest of this plum, so you can either eat it or just put it to the side. Next you'll need to pour some boiling water into your mug just to cover the skins. You don't need too much water. And this is where the fun comes in. You're going to grab your spoon and you're just going to start mushing up those skins. So I'm going to leave this for 10 minutes and come back and show you what it looks like. And then again another 10 minutes and I'll show you what the next step is. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes and you can see that there's a colour change. You can start to see the dye coming out of the skins, which is great. Now you might find that your boiling water gets too cold and not much else changes. So you can grab your mug, throw it into the microwave for even just 10-15 seconds to heat up that water again, and that will help you out. And then you want to leave it again for another 10 minutes. So let me just quickly do that and then I will show you the next step with our material. So while your skins are just resting for that last 10 minutes, you want to grab your material, and this is where the tie-dye effect comes in. So you grab it out and squeeze out some of the salt water so it doesn't drip everywhere. Don't worry about it getting a bit messy. And you'll want to get some elastic bands and do your tie-dye pattern. So I've actually just got some loom bands here. These are ones you can find pretty easily in lots of different shops. Or you can just use regular elastic bands as well. And how you do your tie-dye is completely up to you. You could twist the whole thing up, you can just do little bubbles, you could do it this way. The way you twist it makes the pattern come out. So I'm just going to do little bubbles. So I'm going to grab a little bundle and I'm going to take my band and I'm just going to tie it tightly around that little bubble. Okay, you can see that. So the band needs to be pretty tight or else the dye will get through it and it will ruin the effect. So I'm going to do that a few times over this. So great, here is my little hedgehog. Try and keep this damp. If your dye's not quite ready yet, just put it back into the salt water, but the damp material will soak up the dye better. Alright, so I've left my plum skins for about 20 minutes in this hot water. You can see it's turned this lovely red colour. What we're going to do now is just put our material straight into this mug. So I put my material back in here so it didn't dry out. Squeeze out some of the excess water and put it straight in with the skins and everything into your liquid, your dye, and press it under all of the water. So I know it doesn't look like much now, but I promise you it will look amazing. You want to leave this for as long as you can. Remember, we're talking about patience today, so this is a great way to show your patience. A few hours is great, even overnight. The longer you leave it, the darker the stain, the dye will be. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after a few hours. Alright, so it's been a few hours. You can see that it's a lot later in the day, but I've got my concoction here. I'm not sure if you can make that out. You see how dark it is? It's exactly what you want to see. Now, of course, you can leave it for as long as you want to, but this is fine. I'm going to take it out and I'll show you what to do next. So you squeeze out the excess. Now I've just got some kitchen roll here. And all I'm going to do is just take off these bands and I'll show you the pattern. Now isn't that super cool? And that was just done with plum skins. So I'm going to just let it rest on this kitchen roll until it dries out and you have this cool pattern. So there you have it, that is tie-dye with just plum skin dye. So it's all natural and you'll get this really cool effect. Now if you're going to use something bigger than this, like a tea towel or a t-shirt, just use a few more plum skins and do exactly the same thing as what I've showed you. So have fun and try out some natural plum skin tie-dye. So hopefully you've got a few activities there to keep you busy for the rest of the day or during the week to help you remember patience. And don't forget to check out Right Now Media for the linked Fruits of the Spirit videos, little animations that help explain it in slightly different ways. So make sure to check those out. If you have any problems linking into Right Now Media, do get in touch and I'll happily help. Well, that's it from me today. The last thing I need to do is put up our patience plum onto our tree. So I hope you have a great week. If you are around during the midweek sessions, do come and join in. If not, I will see you next Sunday. Bye!